try and get this fire under control, but
we can't hear you. We can't hear those booms. We can also hear those emergency workers that are around you. So we want to make sure that you're safe. So please get to safety. We are seeing the same images you are, and I know that there's a lot of questions that are left unanswered. We will come back to you soon, but we do want to make sure that you are safe, especially given those projectiles that we've seen in the video and that you see there on your feet, Ruta. So thank you for that report.
All right, well, let's go now to Ruta's been talking to people on the ground. She's been literally picking up pieces from off the ground. You can hear firefighters in the background, bullhorn warnings, explosions that sound like you're at a fireworks show. Greg and Charlene Izzo, they live right next to this. They're joining us on the phone right now, and Ruta's been doing a good job of talking to people coming to the scene. You live there. What are you seeing?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, we live about a mile and a half from the explosion right now.
We were initially seeing a lot of explosions. We were even seeing flames coming from the tree line from our backyard. So there's a lot of confusion, not understanding what was going on exactly over there.
Yeah, we're so close, like the whole house is constantly shaking and the windows are constantly shaking from all the booming.
So even from a mile and a half away, those booms, you're not just hearing, you're feeling them too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, our windows are literally rattling.
Do you either of you have any idea what that building is?
We're thinking that we're being told there's a building there that was selling fireworks. So we're hearing that a building that's selling fireworks that is exploding.
Okay, and then
That's what it sounds like, the fireworks in the background. You can hear the extra explosions on top of what we see burning right before us. Are there any warnings coming your way about staying in your home? Are you hearing anything from law enforcement?
Not yet. I mean, honestly, when we first saw the explosions behind our tree line in our backyard, we just ran in the house. We said, you know what, we're closing all the windows. We're staying inside because we didn't know if it's toxic or what was blowing up. So we've just been staying inside for now. But no, we haven't heard anything.
No official warnings yet.
And that surely is the best course of action until we find out more information about what exactly is happening in your guys' area. Greg, Charlene, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've been hearing about the industry in this area. Greg and Charlene living a mile and a half from this, believing that it is some type of fireworks facility. We're, of course, gathering that information, and Ruta right out there on the scene. But there are actually people attempting to, of course, show up and see what's happening. And so warnings from law enforcement to stay blocks back. She says she's been receiving warnings about staying blocks away. Ruta, what else are you being told and hearing and seeing?
yeah, well, please keep moving us back from the constant explosions and the constant boom and debris falling down. From what I showed you guys earlier, there was some sort of metal that was coming from the sky. That's why we did move back, and that's why police are asking the community members here to move back as well. But we chatted earlier with a gentleman who lives just not too far away. What goes through your head, sir, when you hear these explosions continuing to happen?
Well, now that I know for a fact that it's what did he say it was? I think it was hydrogen tanks that are exploding. It's a little bit alarming, and like you said, the police are telling everyone that we got to leave now because, you know, you just had a piece fall on your foot from all the way across the street. So yeah, it makes sense, unless you got a hard hat.
So what did you hear? What brought you out tonight?
The explosions that were shaking my house and sounded like a lot of loud rumbling. Till I realized that, you know, it wasn't thunder, because I know it's supposed to rain. Wasn't nobody outside. Then I checked Facebook, and the wife said, oh, there's an explosion going on up the street. So I came to look.
Yeah, almost like fireworks continuing to go off.
Yeah, like, because I've seen like videos of firework factories explode, and it was almost similar with all the booming and everything. So, I mean, I guess it's pretty much the same thing.
And about how far away do you live? How far away did you hear this?
I live exactly 6.1 miles from where we're standing right now.
6.1 miles, and you still heard the explosion
And felt it.
and felt it. What color was the sky?
I couldn't really see it from where I was, but once I pulled out on the gross spec, you could almost kind of see the plume of smoke. Even though it's dark out, it was much darker. But as you got closer, you could start seeing everything light up the sky, with the reds, the whites, and all of that.
When you just look at the firefighters that are continuing to make their way towards the fire, what goes through your head?
Very brave men and women. Hopefully I never have to use their services, but I'm glad that they're here, if we need them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Again, everyone's just trying to make light of the situation, stay safe. We have now all as a community moved back because the continuing explosions, they are bringing down debris with them. So there is glass on the floor and in the grass. There's pieces of shrapnel that, of course, are coming from this industrial fire. Clinton Township police are telling us that this is some sort of large-scale fire that would explain the blocks around 15 Mile and Groesbeck that are closed off to the public right now. We made our way over here, but as we did, MSP was on its way, fire trucks as well as police making their way to the scene, trying to get a handle on it. You can see the multiple cranes. There are multiple trucks that are trying to get a handle on this. They are continuing to make their way into the fire, then back to get more water, then back into the fire. We just, of course, hope and pray that everyone there is safe and all our first responders are okay. But still, a lot of questions remain. What caused this fire? And why are there continuous explosions that continue raining down debris onto the area? So police, they are just making sure to keep an eye on everyone, bringing them back as debris continues to fall from the sky. We, of course, have moved back. We're in a safe spot now, but this is an unfolding situation. As folks said just about 45 minutes ago, they heard that boom. They looked outside and they saw smoke and almost like an orange yellow. I don't know if you guys heard that. That was yet another explosion. They just keep coming and coming one after the other. We're, of course, back to a safer space just so that we are staying safe. But the community members that are out here, they're taking photos. They're trying to make sense of what happened as police continue to keep an eye out on everyone, making sure they're safe. So as we kind of take a look at the ground, even in the grass, there's glass, there's pieces of metal, and just things you really don't expect to see in this area right now. We spoke to some of the folks here that are coming from miles away, say that they've never seen or heard anything like this before. But as they continue to make sense of this, so do we. And this debris, it's dangerous. I don't know if you guys are able to see kind of the glass that's over there this way, but that's clearly from a building, as well as that shrapnel and debris. The surrounding community, just like everybody else, wants to make sure that everyone is safe and that they're keeping a safe distance and trying to get some answers as to what happened. Was anyone in the building at the time of the explosion? What caused it? And why are there continuous explosions? The fire department is clearly on scene, clearly busy, but trying to get a handle on it. I don't know if you guys can see the floor, but I just found another piece of shrapnel on the floor, so just you guys have an understanding of what's exactly falling from the sky. It looks like pieces of metal broken off clearly, and there's multiple of these into the streets and on the grass. That's why these roads are closed. That's why you're not going to get anywhere 15 and Groesbeck unless you're already here. So clearly a dangerous situation out there. The booms, they keep coming. The fire department is getting closer and closer, trying to get a handle on this fire, but as the explosions keep coming, it doesn't look like that fire is going to be gone anytime soon. Yet another explosion, yet more debris falling from the sky, you guys.
And Ruta, when Marlon, the photojournalist that you're working with, when he zoomed in to those fire trucks, those fire engines there that were working to put it out, it looked like we could see the outline of a wall of the building. It looks like from the overhead images that there was some sort of building that was there that is no longer. Are you able to confirm or see that with your own eyes there on the ground?
Yeah, so we can definitely see debris. We can definitely see a wall that has come down whatever building was there, it's absolutely gone. Right now, the only thing that's remaining is to put out the flames. I'm sure all that remains is the debris on the floor. That wall that you saw earlier looks like it is just about to come down. So whatever is standing doesn't look like it's going to stand for much longer, especially with those continuous explosions, right? You can see the business right next door is some sort of an electric business. There are people actually inside the business of where this fire is happening. I'm not sure exactly why, but they're looking through their window. They're observing everything. The firefighters, some of them have even taken a step back just to assess. They have multiple teams coming in closer, further away. One team is actually doing their best to spray down, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but a utility pole. So a few utility electricity poles are right there in the area. That cannot be good, and they're spraying water on that as well. So you can see the business next door still has lights on, so the power remains around this area. The stoplights in this area are still working as well. There's a surrounding restaurant that still has their lights on, so power doesn't look to be an issue, but they are spraying those, I'm sure also just as a precaution. But multiple teams out here, multiple trucks, and the urgency here, you can feel it, you guys. Firefighters are running from their trucks to and back, and the ones that are observing the scene, they're taking slow steps back, I'm sure, trying to just stay safe. The community is still here, and they still have a lot of questions about what may be happening. The debris continues to fall, and these community members are doing their best to try to make sense of what's going on. And we have community members. Does anyone live in the area or heard when this happened? And you heard it? Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about what you heard, sir? What's your name, sir?
Larry.
Larry, nice to meet you. Can you tell me a little bit about what you heard when this explosion started?
Well, I was laying there in bed watching TV, and we heard a bunch of bangs, and next thing you know, my wife's phone was just, everybody's blowing it up because we have area news alerts, and they're talking about explosions and fire, and of course I got to be a spectator. I just forgot my keg of beer, that's all.
Well, how do you describe the explosion, sir?
Loud, very loud.
Loud, you guys. That's kind of the name of the game. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. Trying to keep light of this situation. Some kids even here in their blankets, trying to keep a spectacle, of course, at a safe distance as debris continues to fall. But we'll make sure to get you that continuously coming in information as this is a developing, breaking story.
And Ruta, those explosions are loud. I mean, startling. We're jumping in the studio along with you as you're outside. And we heard the gentleman who traveled that 6.1 miles, you were just speaking to him a little while ago, say it was confirmed that they were hydrogen tanks. And we had talked about fireworks, hydrogen. We know this is fluid. We don't know exactly what's causing that. But he mentioned knowing that for sure. Is what's being said at this time? Is that's hydrogen tanks that are exploding?
That's what we're hearing from the surrounding residents here, and that would actually make a lot of sense because that shrapnel, there are tops like it would be to a tank, and then sides like it would be to a tank, so that would actually make a lot of sense, you guys.
Wow. And still, obviously, firefighters trying to get a handle on it. I mean, it's still burning pretty much out of control. So as people show up and you're able to even stop and talk to people, are they able to get near, or is there an effort to keep people back, an active effort? Because they're showing up and talking about bringing...
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
There's police in the area. They are asking everybody to take steps back, Glenda. That's why we got pushed back a bit further. We are across the street from the industrial fire, so a safe distance back. But you described that sound of being loud booms that almost make you jump. It's almost like as if you've been to a fireworks show and you get a little bit too close and your hair kind of stands up when you hear it. That's exactly what this is sounding like. The booms were definitely more frequent. I have now heard them slow down a bit, but 1 second it was one after the other. So as you mentioned, that fire really not having any signs of slowing down. The firefighters continuing to make their way in. They are now observing the surrounding buildings as well, making sure they're okay. I'm actually surprised that there are people still in the next door building at some electrical company and that their windows are intact, because we see glass here in the parking lot across the street.
And Ruta, are you, when we think of an industrial complex, we see a fire like this and we hear those explosions. Is there any sense that there's an air quality concern at all, because you think that there might be chemicals involved or something like that when you hear and see those explosions? Are you getting the sense that the emergency officials that are around you have that concern as well?
So there is no active smell in the air, and I feel like if there was some sort of danger, we would definitely be made aware of it. But all police has asked us to do is go far back enough to not be affected by the debris. But it is quite chaotic. You have every first responder heading towards the fire instead of away. So those that are trying to keep a perimeter are still making their way closer to the fire, just trying to get this thing under control. Now, the smell in the air, I'm not even getting such of a smoky smell or a fire smell. So I'm not sure exactly what might be in the air, but if there is something, the fire department has not made us aware of something. Of course, we've been taking a look at the Clinton Township Fire and Police Facebook pages. They are asking everyone to stay away for debris. Now, the air quality, that's something that we are not exactly sure of.
And Ruta, you're doing an incredible job of bringing us exactly what we're seeing here in real time and assessing this and talking to us about what's happening with the emergency personnel. Can we go back to when this began and that first call came in? What was reported when it first hit?
Definitely a loud boom, some sort of explosion. It was known that something exploded, and the fire that followed that only made sense. So of course, now about a little under an hour ago, we were getting calls into our newsroom of, hey, I see something in the air. The sky is an orange-red color. I heard this from miles away. So that first call, it was explosions, and it was loud, and it is still loud, but they have now calmed down a bit. But you can see the fire department, they are now kind of making their way closer to us. I don't know as to if act like a shield or just get a handle on everything. Here's another piece of debris. So we were talking about hydrogen tanks, right? What does this look like the top of? Right, some sort of tank, and this is what is all on the floor, multiple. So if this is some sort of industrial place where there's many of these, that would make a lot of sense of why we are continuing to hear those explosions.
And also, Ruta, we know when we're out on a scene such as this that you can kind of get a sense just by the posture of first responders as to whether they have control or whether they have a handle on the situation. What are you seeing in terms of that? Are you seeing them still, running around, or does it feel like they have a handle on whatever's happening here?
Well, I want you guys to kind of take a look, because you can really get a sense of how things are going by taking a look at the firefighters themselves. They look tired. They are continuing to make their way closer and closer to the flames. They've been running back and forth to get more water, so there was that sense of urgency. But as you can imagine, they are exhausted. This fire, it is huge, and is not taking just a few fire trucks to get a handle on it. This is taking multiple. I can count just on this street alone over a dozen just in this area, and then many more behind it. This is just one part of the industrial area, right? So if we went across the street, which, all the streets are now blocked off, so that'll be tough to do, I'm sure we would see this, but doubled, tripled. So you can see the urgency is there. These firefighters, they're still doing their best, but they are tired, you guys.
Ruta, we're going to let you assess your safety and continue to gather information, and we'll come join you again shortly. But right now we have Carol Stout with us on the phone. Carol, good evening. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. And tell us your experience with this explosion tonight.
Well, all of a sudden there was the rumble of explosion, and we thought, oh, God, somebody set off some fireworks. We went outside, and it vibrated my front door. That's how bad the explosions were. And we could faintly see up in the clouds, like redness going up there. But it's the explosions are still going off.
And you keep on hearing those booms and those booms and those booms again. What was your sense? What were you thinking when, that initial explosion, and did it end there or just kept on going on and on?
No, it kept on going on and on. It's still going on.
Mm-hmm. So, Carol, are you getting any type of instruction? Like, how close are you in your home?
I'm going to tell you, I'm at 16, between 16 and Jefferson off of Crocker, if you know where that is. And it's over on 15 Mile and Groesbeck area, between Kelly and Groesbeck, is what I was told. Somebody called me and told me.
Do you feel nervous? Are you afraid, or do you?
At first I thought somebody was invading us. I was a wreck. But then I listened, and it kept hearing the booming and booming, and then the last time I went out, it vibrated my front door.
And Carol, Carol makes a good point when you say invading, and you think of these explosions over and over again, and then you begin to think of our service members and what they might be experiencing right now as a result of this as well.
Right. And my heart goes out to the police officers, and we've heard the sirens go by us and everything. I guess they got firemen from our city. And I understand that they're going to call in all the other cities to help out right now.
Well, Ms. Carroll, thank you. We can assure you that it's something happening on the ground, if that puts you at ease at all, and we appreciate you joining us tonight.